Okay, so what issues will weigh heaviest on voters' minds when it's time to cast your ballots this November? Well, a Fox News poll just out is saying that pocketbook issues will take the cake. A whopping 40% of voters from both sides saying the economy is most important to them. Look at that poll, and it actually could be the deciding factor between Barack Obama and John McCain. Joining us now live in New York, radio talk show hosts Mary Walter and David Goodfriend with what their listeners are telling them. Thank you both for coming on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's throw that poll up again, because I think it's interesting that, everybody's concerned with the economy, but if you compare between Democrats and Republicans, Democrats seem to be more concerned about economic issues in comparison with Republicans. David, why do you think that is?
Well, by and large, the Democrats in this country represent the middle to lower end of the economic spectrum in greater numbers than Republicans do. That's an overstatement, but let's run with that for a second. I'll explain what I mean. The people who are being hardest hit by this economic downturn are the folks who are living paycheck to paycheck. Maybe they wear a hard hat, work construction, maybe they're a teacher, maybe they're a nurse. And by and large, these folks are overwhelmingly Democratic. So if you see someone who's worried about the economy, chances are they're a little, they're not very wealthy, and they're not millionaires, and they're not at the top of the economic spectrum. And those are the folks who are rank and file Democrats by and large.
Mary, do your listeners think the economy is as bad as the media likes to portray it?
I want to know if Dave has ever been to Hollywood, because there's a lot of liberals living there, and they're really, really wealthy. But I think that, it hits everybody. But a lot of my listeners are saying, they don't think it's as bad as the media is portraying this to be. Just because you're giving up your $4 coffee in the morning, it's not exactly the Great Depression. So, yeah, the economy goes up, the economy goes down. Maybe this is just a bump in the road, but they are concerned. They want to know where it's going to go, and of course they don't want it to get worse. But I don't think that they feel it's as bad as the media seems to be portraying it.
Okay, let's go to national security, the war in Iraq, the war on terrorism, and obviously, David, it's no surprise that John McCain trumps Barack Obama when it comes to this. But then you've got Barack Obama on his much publicized world tour. And my question to you is, do you think that they're really going to buy it after they see him shaking hands, taking photos with world leaders, standing side by side with American troops in Iraq, neglecting to go visit the injured soldiers in Germany? But nonetheless, do you think when he comes back, now that he's back on U.S. soil, that voters are going to say, yeah, in those photos, he definitely seems to know a lot about foreign policy?
Well, actually, those numbers that you had up on the screen show a much closer divide between Barack Obama and John McCain on national security than what you see on the economy. They are very, very close in terms of who you trust to end the war in Iraq or to handle national security issues. And basically what Barack Obama is doing is he is leading this discussion and this debate. He went right for the throat when it came to the McCain campaign's claim that he somehow couldn't be on the international stage, wasn't experienced enough to deal with international leaders. He fit that role just fine, and he proved it on this trip. Now he's back to his sweet spot, the economy, the economy, the economy. That's what's going to win this election, and he's got it all over John McCain on that issue. Why? Because if you look at Bill Clinton's presidency, the longest economic expansion in the history of the United States. Look at George W. Bush, worst president since Hoover. So people are not dumb. They see the writing on the wall, and they see here's somebody who's going to speak to their needs right now. Not since Phil Gramm, by the way, said that people are whiners in the United States for thinking there's an economic downturn. Have I heard something as silly as what my friend from Fox News Radio just said? People feel this recession. People feel foreclosures. People feel higher interest rates. People feel a softening economy, not as some kind of abstract notion. I have listeners who say that they're losing their jobs.
I'm going to let you get the final word, because we are out of time. But I did get a liberal viewer from California who just wrote in, Obama's trip amounted to nothing but more than a well-staged Hollywood-style production designed for photo ops, which is why he avoided visiting the troops. No photo ops. His speeches were generic and laced with applause lines, empty words, and completely lacking in any real substance at all. Obama is an empty suit. Mike Eisenberg, Hollywood, California.
And David's right. The economy is top of mind. That's the #1 issue right now, but you cannot tax your way to prosperity. And he's right. The listeners are smart, and they know about Obama's planned tax hikes, and it scares them, and they don't want it. And I think that that's going to become huge between now and the election.
All right. Mary Walter, David Goodfriend, thank you both for coming on today.
Thank you.
Thanks, Julie.
Greg.